What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Behind Show. Today is April 26, 2021. We are less than 3 days away from the draft. It's after 9 p.m., so we're officially less than 3 days away from the NFL draft. It's absolutely crazy that we're this close. Does not seem like a draft season has absolutely flown by. This video, I'll be doing a 7-round mock draft of the Cincinnati Bengals. On this video, I am live on YouTube like every single video I do. And, normally I do my mock drafts from ProFootballNetwork.com, but this one actually did it from Pro Football Focus. I know Pro Football Focus, their ranking system is really, really bad this season, but I was doing a mock draft just a couple days ago on PFF's website, and I did this mock draft. Personally, I think this is most likely best case scenario for us. It's reasonable. It's actually, I think there's a chance it could actually happen. And it's really realistic, in my opinion. It's the most realistic mock draft I've done to date. And I've done probably about 10 to 12 Bengals summer mock drafts. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Cincinnati Bengals summer mock draft. In round one, I had them getting Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU. He looked at his time with Joe Burrow. I mean, he didn't. Jamar Chase opted out last season due to the coronavirus, but in his sophomore season, he had 20 touchdowns. I mean, an absolute ton of yards. Had one of the better performances as a wide receiver in college history the past 20 years or so. If you pair him with his college quarterback in Joe Burrow, along with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, I mean, all those guys, aside from Boyd, are on rookie contracts. That's going to be impossible to stop in the future. I know lots of people want Penei Sewell, and some people even want Kyle Pitts. I'm actually, lots of people are Team Sewell, Team Chase. I'm actually, Team Pitts. It's not going to happen, but I would love it if we got any of the three. I'd be really happy with any three of those picks. But realistically, the more as we get closer to the draft, I think it'll be Jamar Chase. You look at people, close to the Bengals organization, they think it'll be Chase. But if you notice, if you watch NFL Network or ESPN, some draft analysts like, let's say, Mel Kiper or Thomas Shea, someone like that, they may say Penei Sewell. It's really interesting because once you start to think about it, like the top analysts and, top people on like top sports stations, when they say something, but when the, close people to the organization say something else, majority of the time, the people close to the organization are right. For instance, you look back a couple years ago, people close, thought they were going to get Jonah Williams. They did get Jonah Williams. But, draft analysts thought the Bengals could get Dwayne Haskins. We ended up not getting Haskins last season. It was obviously we were going to get Joe Burrow at number one for months and months and months before the draft. And, it was obvious we were not going to trade the pick and then make up, something that we want to trade the pick or we should trade Burrow. He didn't want to play for us. So to me, like if you're looking at draft analysts, what the Bengals may do, I would much rather, see somebody close to organization and say, Chase, and maybe somebody who's a top draft analyst saying Sewell or Chase, because I would trust somebody like Paul Denner or something like that, Dave Lapham, much more than, Todd McShay or something like that. If we go here to round two, since I do not have them getting Penei Sewell in round one, obviously I had them getting an offensive tackle in round two, and with their second round pick, they select North Dakota State offensive tackle Dillon Radunz. He was absolutely phenomenal at the Senior Bowl. One of the players who helped his stock the most. I would not be absolutely shocked if he was even gone by the 30th pick overall. Because, with the Baltimore Ravens, getting the Chiefs' first-round pick, and with trading Orlando Brown to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens were definitely going to be in contention to maybe getting a top offensive tackle towards the end of round one. Dillon Radunz is one of those guys, Tevin Jenkins, Alex Leatherwood. Any of those guys I'd be happy with. Dillon Radunz, to me, is probably the best offensive tackle here. I think it's a pretty good pick. I would take Dillon Radunz over Alex Leatherwood. I know there's a major difference between competition. Alex Leatherwood's playing in Alabama, the best conference in the country in the SEC. Dillon Radunz is playing like teams like Central Arkansas. I know there's a major difference, but I would rather have Dillon Radunz. Pitts or Sewell. Yeah, I would be fine with any of the three, but I really, really want Pitts. I know it's not going to happen. It did say Sewell, which that's the thing. Like, as we get closer, it's going to be super close. Like, I would not be shocked if it's either one. The most shocking thing to me would be us getting Kyle Pitts. I don't think it's going to happen at all. But I would be pretty shocked at this point if it was Sewell. But who knows? I think it's Chase. Yeah. Right now, I honestly think it's Chase, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was Sewell. Like I said, I'd be fine with any of the three. I mean, any of those three guys want to come play for us right away and be really, really good. As we continue here in round 3, I have the Bengals taking another offensive lineman, and this is a guard from Georgia, Ben Cleveland, with the 69th pick overall. I really, really like this pick here. I mean, once I talk more about these picks, I really feel like we got best player available at pretty much every single pick. And the picks that I got, where some of those players can help us, right away. Ben Cleveland, could help us right away. We signed Quentin Spain to a 1-year contract. Wouldn't be shocked if he's gone after this season. It's going to be interesting to see who plays the other guard. Personally, people talk about Chase going number 5. I know I already talked about Jamar Chase, but something I kind of thought about, if we take Chase at 5, if we take, let's say, the best offensive tackle available in round 2, I would not be shocked if we took, maybe signed a guy like Trey Turner or Larry Warford. The Bengals are interested in Larry Warford last season. There's supposedly rumors that the Bengals have contacted Trey Turner. I don't know if those are true or not. But, we really did Chase up offensive tackle in round 2. And one of those guys, I'd be really happy with that. But, since, as of right now, you really can't tell if the Bengals will sign a offensive guard or not. In free agency, especially with the, draft in just a couple of days. I have them getting Ben Cleveland here. He's definitely the best guard available. He's probably going to be one of the best players available here. He would be a great addition to the offensive line. Much needed help. I know, some people went Sewell at 5, but they did Dillon Radunz and Ben Cleveland. Those are two young guys who's going to help us tremendously in the future to protect our franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. So as we continue here in round 4, I have the Bengals selecting a defense tackle from Pittsburgh University, Jaylen Twyman. I know, lots of people are mocking Milton Williams from Louisiana Tech, the Bengals in the 3rd round. Milton Williams was actually not available when I was selecting my 3rd round pick. But I was okay with that, getting Ben Cleveland, though, and especially getting Jaylen Twyman here in the 4th round. He's definitely one of the better defensive tackles in the draft. Definitely one of the bigger sleepers. He's expected to go right now probably around late 3rd round, maybe 4th round or so. If we get him with the 111th pick, that is absolutely phenomenal. He's been compared, if you watch his tape, been compared to Aaron Donald, arguably the best player in the NFL, and also been compared to, Geno Atkins, who you look at his resume, has a Hall of Fame resume, was absolutely extended for us for nearly a decade. I like him a lot. He would be a great addition to the defensive line. You look at our defensive tackle situation. When you name the players we have, it's not bad. But when you look at the contracts, that is extremely concerning. We have DJ Reader, who's coming off a season-ending injury. We signed Larry Ogunjobi from the Cleveland Browns, but that's a 1-year deal. And we also signed Mike Daniels. He was with us last season, and that's also on a 1-year deal. So, we have some guys at defensive tackle. We also have Josh DuPont, coming back. He opted out last season due to the coronavirus. And Rennell Wren, he's been coming back from injury. Some people are high on Rennell Wren, but he's always injured, it seems like. DuPont's all right, but I'd still like another guy at defensive tackle. Like I said, Daniels and Larry Ogunjobi could both be gone 1 year from now. So I think it's definitely smart to go to defensive tackle even round 4 if you don't take one in round 3. Jaylen Twyman, to me, will be the best defensive tackle if he's available if at 111. This is a fantastic pick here. This is a great value pick. And that's a great addition to the defensive line. Speaking to the great addition to the defensive line, as we continue here in round 5, I actually have Jaylen Twyman's teammate being picked here, edge rusher Patrick Jones. If you watched some of my mock drafts before, maybe a Bengals mock draft, we're talking about, some other mock drafts I've done too. My series of doing a post-free agency summer mock draft for each NFL team. You've noticed that I have Patrick Jones being drafted quite a bit. He's not my number one edge rusher, but he's my favorite edge rusher in the class. He is just absolutely insane. You watch his tape. Even in a bad game this past season, he would still get you a sack and a quarterback pressure or two. It's absolutely phenomenal. I do not understand at all why Patrick Jones' stock is falling all of a sudden. Now it's kind of projecting he may go, in the 5th round or so, 4th round, something like that. I mean, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we were talking about Patrick Jones with, around the mid-second, early 3rd, something like that. But I really don't understand why he's dropping. If you get him here with the 149th pick overall, that is absolutely insane. And that becomes my favorite pick of this draft. Like I said, he's my favorite edge rusher. He's one of my favorite defensive players in the draft in general. Getting him here at 149 is absolutely amazing for us. I mean, getting him and Jaylen Twyman on the defensive line is major help. Young guys who can, come in right away and help us. They were teammates together at Pittsburgh. I think, Patrick Jones here in round 5 and Jaylen Twyman, the defensive tackle in Pittsburgh, in round 4 are both great picks here on day 3. As we continue here, in round 6, I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking running back from Louisville, Javion Hawkins. Javion Hawkins, Elijah Mitchell, Brendan Knox, and Jarrett Patterson are my favorite late round running backs. I'd be happy with any of the 4. With us releasing Bernard, it saves us a couple of $1 million in cap space. Obviously we have Mixon, but he was injured quite a bit last season. We signed Samaje Perine into a 2-year deal. Trevion Williams, the limited carries he had last season, had some nice moments, but I would still like us to get maybe a running back in here in the later rounds. Hawkins to me reminds me quite a bit of Giovanni Bernard. I've had him, also much of the Bengals on a few of my mock drafts as well. Very similar style of play. Can catch out of the backfield. He can run some. He's a really, really good. He's not nearly as good as a blocker as Bernard, though, but, it's really going to be hard to get a better blocker than Bernard because, despite Bernard's small size, he's one of the best blocking running backs in the NFL. But I think getting Hawkins here in round 6 is a really, really good pick. He reminds me so much of Giovanni Bernard, and, they're similar build and their playing style. I think getting a running back here with one of our 2 6th-round picks, or maybe even our 7th-round pick, is actually a pretty good idea. So, like I said, obviously we have 2 6th-round picks. This was our first 6th-round pick, and with our second 6th-round pick, I have us selecting tight end from Bowling Green, Quentin Morris. Quentin Morris is probably my favorite late-round tight end. I also like Matt Bushman from BYU quite a bit as well. But Quentin Morris, he had a really, really nice showing at the Senior Bowl. Really nice practice at the Senior Bowl and a nice game as well. Actually hurdled a defender. Very, very athletic. His stats, you look at his stats, they're not great. But, his play really shows more than his stats actually show. But Quentin Morris here, I really, really like him here. Like I said, I also like Matt Bushman from BYU. I'd be happy with any one of those tight ends. And I really think we could use some tight end help. CJ Uzomah is coming off a season-ending injury. He got hurt in week 2 of last season in Thursday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns. And Drew Sample is still a big question mark. I don't think, he's never going to live up to the 2nd-round pick that we drafted him in. But he's still a question mark. He's still up in the air. Like, you don't know what you're going to expect from Drew Sample. We did sign Thaddeus Moss, a teammate with Joe Burrow a couple weeks ago. I know lots of Bengal fans are acting like Thaddeus Moss is going to be a big part of this offense. He's absolutely not going to be a big part of this offense at all. It's not even a guarantee that Thaddeus Moss will make the team. If he makes the team, though, it's going to be because Burrow wants him on the team specifically. Thaddeus Moss, look at last season. we've really struggled against, getting separation from defenders, and that's why, we kind of struggled. Burrow struggled with the deep ball quite a bit, but Thaddeus Moss struggles from getting separation from defenders. He's extremely slow, and he's going to be, in contention, fighting for that third spot along with Mason Schreck, and I don't think Moss is not a guarantee to make the team. So I would still like us to get a tight end here in the later rounds. And I think Quentin Morris would be a really nice addition to the team in the 6th round. I think it's a fantastic pick. And, with the 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, you never, in my opinion, I don't think you should ever draft a team need, in the 6th and 7th round. You should always draft best player available, because if you draft team need in the later rounds, it's not a guarantee that they will make the team. If you draft best player available, though, in the later rounds, they're a lot more likely to make the team because they're the best player available regardless of position. So, that's much better than getting a team need who might be the 12th best player available or something like that. But I really, really like Quentin Morris here in round 6. Yep, Ball from Marshall. I think that'd be a pretty nice pickup. If they get him with one of their 2 seconds or their 7th round pick. Huntington and Cincinnati is not that far away at all. The Bengals were at Marshall's pro day. Would not shock me at all if the Bengals maybe would draft Josh Ball from Marshall, or Ball would go undrafted, which I think he would go drafted in the 7th round. Wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals maybe contact him as a undrafted free agent. On this last pick here, I actually changed this pick. I originally had it as Florida wide receiver Trevon Grimes. To me, that is a plus pick. That's absolutely phenomenal. Getting Grimes with the 235th pick overall is a steal. That is absolutely ridiculous value there. But I actually changed this pick because the player I changed it to was also available, and I wanted to make this more realistic. If you look at this mock draft, I think this is easily the most realistic mock draft I've done. This is one of the more realistic mock drafts I've seen the past couple of weeks. Make it more realistic, though. Instead of getting Trevon Grimes, wide receiver Florida, with their last pick of the draft and their pick in the 7th round, I have them selecting Florida kicker Evan McPherson. We no longer have Randy Bullock. We have Cyber, but he's very inconsistent. Evan McPherson is one of the best kickers in the country. He's one of the best kickers, as a draft prospect. I've seen some mock drafts having McPherson in the 6th round. I do not really like that at all because, like I said, I'd much rather get best player available than a team need as we go to the later rounds. The 235th pick, Evan McPherson, if he's still available, he's arguably the best kicker in the draft class. So that's arguably the best player available. But if you're getting him like in the 6th round with the 190th pick, like we got in Javian Hawkins, I do not think that's the best player available at all. I think that's a team need. That's a major, major reach. But, I thought this was a really, really good mock draft. If this were to happen, I think I would not be surprised at all if the Bengals had 9 wins this season. With the extra game makes it 17 games this year. But I really, really like this mock draft. I definitely think it's one of the most realistic mock drafts I've seen. It's easily the most realistic mock draft I've done, in my opinion. And I would be so happy if this was, similar to what the Bengals do this upcoming, weekend. But this was really good. This was my last, like I said, this was my last Cincinnati Bengals 7-round mock draft. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what time, but I'll be doing my favorite prospects in each round. I'll be talking about, some players I really, really like for the Bengals to get in each round. I'm not sure what time that will be yet, but I'm expected to be tomorrow night. Also, tomorrow, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I will have Denver Broncos legend Carl Mecklenburg. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler and 3-time All-Pro on the show. I will be talking about all things, Denver Broncos as well, with the draft. Maybe the Broncos will trade up. And, who knows, maybe the Broncos could offer the Bengals a crazy deal to trade up and get a quarterback. What's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Bengals do in the draft. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens in the draft in general. So we'll go over these picks here one more time. In round 1, LSU wide receiver Jamar Chase. In round 2, North Dakota State offensive tackle Dillon Radunz. In round 3, Georgia offensive guard Ben Cleveland. In round 4, Pittsburgh defensive tackle Jaylen Twyman. In round 5, they take Pittsburgh edge rusher Patrick Jones. In round 6, Louisville running back Javion Hawkins. Also in round 6, with their second 6th-round pick, they select Bowling Green tight end Quentin Morris. Their last pick of the draft in the 7th round, they select Florida kicker Evan McPherson. Overall, I think Patrick Jones was my favorite pick of this draft because of value. But I would be happy with every single one of these picks. I'd be absolutely ecstatic about. Thank you all so much for listening. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next time on the Sports 200 Show.